A middle-aged guy would have to be a total fool to pick up a teenage girl standing outside a bar with her thumb sticking out. Not that bright on her part either, when you think about it. But right now we're talking about my stupidity, not hers. She was standing at the curb, her stringy blonde, rain-soaked hair hanging in her face, the neon glow from the Coors sign in the window of Patchett's bar bathing her in an eerie light. It was hard to tell her age exactly. Old enough to drive legally, maybe even vote, but not drink. Not a chance, I thought. Picking up a male hitchhiker was a bad enough idea, but picking up a teenage girl was monumentally dumb. Guy in his early 40s gives a lift to a girl less than half his age on a dark, rainy night. There were more ways for that to go wrong than I could count. So I kept my eyes straight ahead as I put my foot on the brake. I was about to give the Accord some gas when I heard a tapping on the passenger window. I glanced over, saw her there, bending over, looking at me. I shook my head, but she kept on rapping. I powered down the window. "Sorry," I said, "I can't." "I just need a lift home, mister," she said. "It's not that far. There's some sketchy guy in a pickup over there and..." "Hey, aren't you Scott Weaver's dad?" And then everything changed. "Yeah," I said. I had been. "I thought I recognized you. You probably wouldn't even know me, but like I'd seen you pick up Scott at school and stuff. Look, I'm sorry, I'm getting rain into your car. I'll see if I can Get in," I said. "Are you sure?" "Yeah." "God, thanks." She opened the door and slid into the seat, moving a cell phone from one hand to the other, slipping the purse off her shoulder and tucking it down by her feet. The dome light was a lightning flash, on and off in a second. "Oh, I'm soaked. I'm real sorry." I didn't know how long she'd been there, but it had been long enough for rivulets of water to be running down her hair and onto her jacket and jeans. "But don't worry about it," I said. "Which way do I go?" "Oh yeah," she said. "This way. Just go straight." "So you're a friend of Scott's?" I said. "Oh yeah, he was a good guy." "What's your name?" "Oh, I'm Claire." "Like chocolate eclair." "Did you hurt yourself, Claire?" She looked at her hand. There was a bad scratch on the back, just below the knuckles, about an inch long, the skin freshly grazed and raw, just this side of bleeding. Headlight glare reflected off my rearview mirror. The vehicle behind us was an SUV or a truck with lights mounted high enough to shine in through my back window. Claire leaned forward to look into the mirror, mounted on the passenger door. "That guy's really riding your bumper," she said. I tapped the brakes just enough to make my taillights pop, and he backed off. "You okay, Claire?" I asked. "Oh, yeah, I'm cool. 'Cause you seem kind of on edge." "Oh, I'm fine." "How'd you know Scott?" "Oh, just school. We'd hang out. Not that much or anything, but I knew him. I was real sad about what happened to him. I mean, all kids do dumb shit, right? But most of us, nothing really bad ever happens." "When was it again? It seems like it was just a few weeks ago." "There'll be 2 months tomorrow," I said. "August 25th. She said to me, "They talk about you." "What?" "Well, like, the kids at school. Like, they know what you do, like what your job is, and they know what you've been doing lately." I suppose I shouldn't have been surprised. She said, "I don't know anything, so there's no point in asking." She looked through the windshield and pointed up ahead and said to me, "Could you pull into Iggy's for a second? Just up there?" I knew Iggy's. I just didn't understand why she wanted me to pull into Griffin's landmark ice cream and burger palace. I mean, I'd committed to giving her a ride home, but a spin through the Iggy's drive-through window seemed a bit much. But before I could object, she said, "It's not like for food. My stomach feels kind of weird, and beer doesn't always agree with me, It's bad enough I got your car wet. I wouldn't want to puke in here, too." I hit the blinker and pulled into the restaurant. As we came to a stop, and Claire was looping the strap of her purse around her wrist, gathering everything together like she was planning a fast getaway, I said, "Are you sure you're okay?" "Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I'll be right back." She leapt out and slammed the door, raising the purse in front of her face as a shield against the rain as she ran for the door. She disappeared into the back of the restaurant where the restrooms were located. I glanced over at a black pickup, its windows tinted so heavily I couldn't make out who was driving, that had just pulled in a half dozen spots over. Here I was, late at night, waiting for a girl I did not know, a teenage girl at that, to finish throwing up after an evening of underage drinking. I knew better than to have allowed myself to get into this position, but after she'd mentioned that some guy in a pickup was putting the Wait a minute. A pickup? I glanced again at the black truck, although on this rainy night it might have been dark blue or gray. If anyone had gotten out of it and entered Iggy's, I hadn't noticed. She'd been in there for a good 5 minutes now. I mean, how long did it take to toss your cookies? I thought to myself, I could just go. She had a cell phone. She could call someone else to come and get her. I could head home. This girl wasn't my responsibility. Except that wasn't true. Once I'd agreed to give her a ride to see that she got home safely, I had made her my responsibility. I took another look at the pickup. It was just sitting there. I decided to go in and find her, make certain she was okay. I scanned the tables I couldn't see from outside to see if she was sitting at any of them, but she wasn't. I hesitated outside the door marked Women, screwed up my nerve, then pushed the door open half an inch. Claire? Claire, are you okay? There was no answer. It's me, it's Mr. Weaver. Nothing. Not from Claire or anyone else. This was not a smart place for me to be hanging around. When I got outside, the first thing I noticed was an empty parking space where the black pickup used to be. Then I saw it, turning back onto Danbury, flicker on, waiting for a break in traffic. It wasn't possible to tell with those tinted windows whether anyone was in the car beside the driver. God damn it, my heart pounded. I'd lost Claire and I hadn't wanted her in the first place, but I was panicked now that I didn't know where she was. What should I do? Follow the truck? Call the cops? Forget the whole damn thing ever happened? Follow the truck. That seemed the most logical thing. I'd catch up to it, come up alongside, see if Claire was in it, and make sure... There she was. She was in my car, in the passenger seat. Shoulder strap already in place, blonde hair hanging over her eyes. I dropped into the seat. The interior lights flashed for 3 seconds tops. I was starting to worry about you. She stared out the passenger window, her body leaning away from me. I came out the side door, almost muttering, her voice rougher than before. Throwing up must have taken a toll on her throat. She kept leaning up against the door like she was trying to stay as far away from me as possible. If she was wary of me now, why wasn't she before? There was something else niggling at me, something other than what I might have done, things that were only now registering. First, her clothes. They were dry. Her jeans weren't darkened with dampness. But there was more disconcerting than the dry clothes. Maybe what I'd thought I'd seen I hadn't seen at all. After all, the light was only on for those few seconds. I needed to turn them back on to be certain. I fingered the dial by the steering column that flicked on the dome light. Sorry, I said. I just had this thought I left my sunglasses at Home Depot. I fumbled with my right hand in the small storage area at the head of the console. Oh yeah, there they are. And I turned the light back off. It was on long enough for me to be sure. Her left hand, it was uninjured. There was no cut.